Hello, I'm MykonosFan, and welcome back to a long overdue new episode of Please Play It, the series in which I implore you to please play it. Today's episode focuses on Katamari Damacy Reroll, which is fitting since the last episode focused on Donut County, a game that seemed to take some cues from Katamari. Namco Bandai Namco released this re-release of Katamari on December 7th, dooming it against major industry heavy hitters like Sega Genesis Collection on the Nintendo Switch. Therefore, I felt a need to talk about it to remind you that it exists. Katamari Damacy first released for the PlayStation 2 in 2004. As someone who didn't own a PS2, my entry to the series was with beautiful Katamari on the Xbox 360 much later. That said, this is a series that didn't seem to fix what wasn't broken as it went on, so it was very easy for me to hop into the original title here. Reroll is currently on Switch and the PC, though I have to imagine it will hit PS4 and Xbox One eventually. To get it out of the way, Reroll is a pretty bare-bones re-release that doesn't do too much new other than up the resolution to keep the game looking sharp. The Switch features motion controls and there is 2-player co-op, but other than graphical touch-ups, that's all that's new. Viewed purely as a remaster, Reroll is disappointingly straightforward. That out of the way, Katamari Damacy still shines through as a delightful game. The premise is that the immensely large King of the Cosmos has accidentally destroyed the stars in the sky. He doesn't feel much remorse for this universally profound discourse, but due to the backlash from the residents, he feels obligated enough to trust you to build new stars. As the prince, who is much smaller by comparison, you must head to Earth and roll up a bunch of things to make things right again. The game is a weird, unwieldy control style that will take some getting used to if you haven't played an entry in this series before. It has tank controls akin to a horror game, because it secretly is one, with some abnormal analog stick inputs and movements to help you realign yourself and zip around. It's weird, which is fitting. Once you do acclimate though, you'll be able to get around pretty easily. Frustrations arise when you get stuck in oddball places and crevices, but generally, with a little effort, you can get out of those situations. It's a bit tense since you're on a timer in most levels, but life goes on. In the majority of the stages, you start out at a certain size and must continually roll up smaller things to grow larger and increase the volume of objects you can obtain. A few levels mix this up by tasking you to prioritize a certain type of thing, like swans or crabs. Once in a while, you are also tasked with dodging certain things as you aim to roll up the largest item you can find, like a cow. You can easily get through Katamari in a day if you have nothing else going on. There aren't a lot of stages. The end result is that the game doesn't overstay its welcome by any means. It feels like the perfect length. The scale of the adventure begins small and ends like you'd hope, with you rolling up entire land masses and clouds. All of this is bolstered with an immensely charming presentation. The visual style proves to be timeless, and seeing it in a higher resolution is nice. There's nothing jaw-dropping about this HD port. It just feels right, the way it should. Not to mention that the soundtrack has to be one of the greatest in the entire medium. I've listened to it before outside of the game and enjoyed it, but experiencing the music in the context of the game elevated it to new heights for me. There can be a little too much sound going on, and at times there's still a bit too much going on screen for my liking, but it's easy enough to power through to enjoy the game at large. Also, it feels worth mentioning that the game doesn't autosave. A screen pops up to warn you about this, but just to make it clear so you don't accidentally play half of the game and have your Switch die on you without knowing this, save often. And while I'm bossing you around telling you what to do, you should check out Katamari Damacy Reroll. If you still play the original release on a regular, there won't be much new here to tempt you. But if it's been a long time since you've played it, or if you've never played it, now is the time. Please play it. This video was supported by the following patrons. Thank you.